So the question is, you know, I know you've got a farm, you've got animal manure, you've got hay, you've got all this stuff, but I live in the suburbs and I want to have a really good compost. So how do I do that? Well, that is a good question. Let's go and find out. Well, first off, we are very particular about our waste stream, right? And so that can kind of break down into three categories. You've got actual trash, like hazardous waste, like batteries and computer components, but all that can still actually be dealt with as well. That's one issue, but the vast majority of the stuff that you're using in the suburbs is going to go into the recycling area, right? And so, you know, in the suburbs, usually there's like maybe a recycling bin. You know, sometimes that's even goes to the city trash or the dump site as well without us even knowing. But there's a form of doing that, and the solution to that really is, you know, like when we get on our farm, we'll have an on-site recycling center. You can check out preciousplastic.com. We'll modify those open source plans, and so you can do it too. So, you know, waste and hazardous waste, recycling. Even though we want to stop using plastic, what do we do with the plastic that's here? Let's remold it into something. And then you know, what really this video focuses on is the organic waste, right? So, you know, and that comes in multiple forms. So we could look at this from a different perspective, right? So plants are miners, right? They're mining the soil for different nutrients and minerals, and then, you know, we come along and we extract those minerals from the plant leaf or the vegetation or the seed or however we extract them, and then those get expelled from us, and in the suburbs most often those are put into a flush toilet and flushed into a septic system where we have no further access to it. You know, and for the most part, you know, maybe you don't want to have any access to your neighbor's waste stream, which I can completely understand. But as far as closing the loop and closing the cycle on your garden, or your growing operation for your suburban home, that is kind of forcing you to run in the deficit all the time. You're extracting the minerals from the soil, you're, you know, expelling them, and then they never come back to the property. And, you know, actually some of it might go back to the property. In many cases in the suburbs, that gets sterilized down and put back into the drinking water, but that's a conversation for a whole nother day. So the solution to that really would come into composting toilets, but, you know, that is a whole video discussion in itself. Probably a multi-video course even could be made out of just composting toilets. And in most cities and municipalities, there's going to be some type of code that might, you know, probably going to prevent you from using a composting toilet whatsoever. So what do we do? And that really is the question, because, you know, the other parts of the plant that we're not eating still hold vital minerals and nutrients that can be recycled back in. So, you know, there's two ways that we want to focus on that we have control over here in a suburban place. So one of them is taking the agricultural waste, as you can put it, or the, you know, you have a tomato that pops up, you're eating the tomato, but you have all the tomato stalks and the leaves and all that. So you cut those and put them in a place like this one where you can just store them up, and when you're ready to compost them, use them like we're doing here on the site. And that's one way to look at it. And then the other way is, you know, every time that you're cooking, whether you're growing your own produce or you're buying it from the store, you're going to have kitchen waste of some type, you know, even greases and things like that. So we save those, and every day we bring them out to this bin, and you know, we save up all that material. So we have both carbon and nitrogen on site when we're ready to do the compost. Now, the question that always gets asked when I'm teaching compost is, okay, so I've always heard you shouldn't put meat or dairy out in your compost. So this is just not true. For the way we do it. Now, there's going to be a cold compost where you're just storing organic material away and you're letting that biodegrade over time. Now, that's probably not the best thing to do to put your meat or your dairy in. And the reason for that is not because of composting, is because it attracts the rodents or the undesirable pests into your area that you might not want them. So the solution to that is create thermophilic compost or create hot compost. And that's really what we do here. So we save all all of that stuff. Dairy, meats, cheeses, citrus, you name it, and we're gonna save it and utilize it back into the compost. So that takes care of the nitrogen, right? Your food scraps, you know, they're in the bin over there, they're getting a little anaerobic, which is fine. It actually ends up turning them into food for the aerobic microbes later, but that's the nitrogen source. But what about the carbon? Now, I've already kind of mentioned that what you can do is cut your agricultural waste and store it into an area, but you might not even have enough of that. Matter of fact, it is extremely common both in a suburban site and even on a farm to always run out of carbon. Everything loves carbon. It's bedding for your animals, it's mulch, it's everything, it's everywhere, used everywhere. So what do? Well, we got to thank our neighbors for doing the work for us and bagging it up and putting it on the street. Praise the Lord. See, that's what I'm talking about. When the neighbors bag it up for you. Thanks. I mean, that's like using the problem as a solution. You know, leaves are called leaves because you leave them alone. But for whatever reason, we've got it into our head that, you know, we're gonna bag them up in the suburbs and put them on the side of the curb and let the city take them away. So let's utilize this. Let's go in there, help our neighbors by removing their terrible waste from them and bringing it back and making a compost out of it. So yes, bag leaves are good. So here in the temperate climate where we're at, we've got lots of oak leaves. Oak leaves take longer to break down. Some people don't like that in the compost. I say that's even excellent. That's like a slow release nutrient, you know, like a capsule, those slow release capsules. It's like a slow release nutrient compost capsule for your garden. So there's nothing wrong with this whatsoever. So over the years, we've trialed, we've erred, and successes and failures, and we do have like a little summary. So if we're gonna do the 18-day method compost, and one of these days I'll get around to actually filming that, that's over 18 days, and it's just like, you know, man, it's just a lot of filming to keep track of. But in any case, once you know that strategy, what you'll need for that is you'll need about 10 to 15 large bags of leaves. And, you know, ideally clean leaves with not a bunch of twigs in them or trash or anything like that. And you want them mostly topped up to the top. So you want to get those leaves and, you know, come and bring them, store them into your area. And then the size bin that we have here, it's a 32 gallon, anywhere from 3/4 full to all the way full is a good reference there as to how much nitrogen you need. So there's kind of the ratio for you, and you can utilize that in your property. So, as we've already established in previous videos, and if you've ever taken classes or courses from me, a composting area is at the top of the list of what's needed. We've got to recycle, reuse our waste streams back into fertility, and soil fertility is an end game. So that's how we do it here. There's multiple ways to do it. You guys go out, start bagging up leaves if you're in the suburbs. It's like fall or autumn right now in the northern hemisphere, so go get some work done. I love you guys, bless you, happy composting and designing. I'll see you next time.